Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen.
Hi.
We're doing Hullbreaker Isle.
Yay! This is another cute little side dungeon.
This contains deep world lore about major characters and historic figures. This little fun side quest has some major lore bombs in it.
No, you're not wrong. But it's a fun little side quest.
I agree.
Yeah. And at level 15, like major MSQ story developments, we get like foreshadowing of this.
Yes.
It
was very hard to not mention this back then because it was like, oh my God, it's right there.
Oh! Now we can talk about it.
Not yet, because we got to do it first. So let's get a moving.
Buy the onion.
Yes, buy the onion. We get the hookup for this mission from Mr. Buy the Onion himself, aka Blowzone, in Mordona, and he now recognizes us. It's a nice little arc. At first he's like, some other guy did this thing. Do you want to go do something related? The second time, he's like, hey, do you know this person? Oh, you are this person. Great.
Yeah.
And now he actually knows who we are.
Hey, it's this guy.
Appreciate that. Buy the onion.
Buy the onion. Buy the onion.
And he has a task for us from a highly confidential person.
Yeah, one of his friends. And this guy has a ton of friends, apparently.
Let's just say, you'll recognize him.
This guy collects friends like I collect unfinished projects. Am I right?
Wow. Our contact is in Limsa. He's waiting for us on the lower ring of the platform outside the Drowning Wench. This is the designated crime area.
What?
What do you mean, what? You've been here.
Yeah?
Every back alley dealing in Limsa happens on this lower ring of this platform.
Yeah, it's like it's Pearl Lane. It's the Pearl Lane of...
That is factually incorrect on so many levels. Pearl Lane is the refugee dumping ground where people have nowhere else left to go to, quote, Pearl Lane, because that's where it's socially acceptable for people to lie down and do nothing. This place is empty. There's no reason to be here ever except for doing crimes. And if you were to try and lounge somewhere, you'd fall off the edge into the ocean because there are no safety rails.
Okay. Continue.
Pearl Lane my ass.
All right.
Okay, so we're on the lower ring.
Can I, because I have feelings about this moment. Before we even talk to the guy, when I did this the first time, and I think I've probably talked about this before, I could not find him at all. You see the little blue marker, and I'm running around, and I'm running around, and I'm running around, and I'm like, I don't know where this person is. He's not inside the Drowning Wench. He's not outside the Drowning Wench. He's not under the Drowning Wench. I didn't know there was a different under. He's not above it. I had to Google it. Be like, Final Fantasy XIV, where the fuck is, what's his name? Denston. And lo and behold, everybody was like, where the fuck is this guy? Where the fuck is this guy? And like, okay, so you go to the Drowning Wench, but before you enter the door, you make a left, you hug the wall, the platform splits. Before, it just looked like it dropped off into nothing, so you're not going to walk over there, but it's a ramp that you can't see. You can't see that it's a ramp. It just looks like it drops off into nowhere.
I recommend you look down.
That's
Jen.
where Denston is. FYI. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Thank you for the PSA. So, this guy is a generic-looking pirate. It's pirate.jpg.
He's got a big battle axe. Not a wife, though. Ayo.
He asks us if we've heard of Mistbeard, the legendary pirate. Ain't a soul in Limsa that don't know of his exploits. At the height of his notoriety, he vanished without a trace. Rumor has it his treasure is still out there. But now someone interrupts. I'll take it from here. And we're joined by Storm Marshal Einzar Slafferson, though he is in plain clothes right now. Casual Friday.
Yeah.
At the Maelstrom.
So
it looks like he's on vacation.
Yeah, kind of. He's got like sandals on, which isn't very strange, but
he's got like shorts on too, right?
Yeah. He looks like Just
middle-aged vacationer in
yeah,
Limsa.
I mean, it's really driving it home that he is off the clock right now. But before we move on, Denston's like, Mistbeard, suddenly disappeared, and then all of these rumors of Mistbeard's lost treasure being, somewhere, and now everybody's trying to find it. And so, so the treasure's just out there waiting for some good pirate to find it. And I was like, I don't want to use the word good pirate. I want something piratey. I want some slang, man. So I went to the internet and I Googled, how would a pirate describe a good pirate?
A bad pirate.
No, a good pirate. The kind of pirate that would be skilled enough to find a lost treasure.
They would describe a good pirate as a bad pirate.
I don't know what that means.
Because if you're a pirate, being bad is good.
Oh,
and being good is bad.
A skilled pirate. God damn. Okay. So I went to Google and I'm like, how would a pirate say, you're a real good pirate there? And the Google AI, as you know, has been really ramping up. And I think they did me a fucking solid here with some pirate deep cuts. Here are some examples they gave me. You could use such things as, arr, maybe to express excitement. You could also use, shiver me timbers, an exclamation that can be used to express fear. Or, yo ho ho, a cheery phrase that can be used to get someone's attention. And Google wipes their hands and like, job well done. And so, no.
We now know where Jen stands in the AI debate.
So that was dumb. And I'm like, you know what? Let me look up some Final Fantasy XIV rogue slang. And that is where I got my fucking answers. Looking for Mistbeard's treasure. The treasure's just hanging out there waiting for some dimber damper to find it. Good pirate. That was my adventure.
Nice.
Okay.
I think that's more like oldie London slang though than pirate slang, but
that is not London slang. I mean, it's not pirate technically, but it is. I would say it's very adjacent. It's also uncommon. It's not like Cockney slang. Like
you're uncommon.
You're in Barney.
Jen.
It's.
You're welcome. Wow, this is going to be one of those episodes.
I just thought it was. I front loaded. There was a lot of bullshit on this like first segment. Also, for some reason, when I was making the notes here and doing this, I was feeling very punchy. I don't know why. It was like 10:30 a.m.
And
I don't know.
You're still punchy now.
Getting flashbacks.
Great. So back to the tale. We've got Storm Marshal, off duty, Slafferson here. And he tells us now that there are some recent developments in the Mistbeard's cache matter. In the Sealdales.
I call it Sealdales.
I feel like you're adding a syllable there.
It's accounted for. But yeah, Sealdales.
I like the way it sounds, but I don't see that last syllable.
Instead of like Sealdales or whatever, I've always called it Sealdales because that just sounds pretty.
Okay, sure. Done. This is a chain of remote islands in the Rotano Sea, which I didn't know because we go there all the time for ocean fishing and it's just a place on a boat.
It's a place on a boat.
But apparently that's the name of this island chain way out in the Rotano Sea. And in the Sealdales is an expanse to which few dare venture, for the area is perpetually shrouded in heavy mist. There is said to be a hidden island within that smashes the hulls of vessels that dare venture into the mist. Hullbreaker Isle. However, after the calamity, this mist has been known to dissipate on occasion. And on one such occasion, a merchant sailed into the area and found something.
A merchantman, which is a type of ship, not an actual merchant guy.
Thank you.
Yeah, just.
What they found, though, was the Har, Mistbeard's flagship, lying broken within a cove. But the captain of this vessel made for familiar waters before they got trapped here by the return of that mist, and he swore his crew to secrecy, so they would not reveal the location of Mistbeard's treasure.
Spoiler, they did not.
Yes, this word got out, and it got out hard, so now every would-be treasure hunter now wants to claim a piece of this treasure.
Fair.
But Einzar wants us to get there first, and to take a particular object from Mistbeard's hoard before any other treasure hunters, pirates, whatever, get a taste. The thing that we're to bring back for Einzar is a golden coffer bearing Mistbeard's crest.
And anything beyond that, we can just keep.
Or leave behind, like I think we do.
Yep.
The payday for this mission is not nearly commensurate with a pirate's hoard.
Yep.
We take the instructions very literally.
I got a rock.
Which, to be fair, is on brand for us. And we bring back just the coffer when we succeed.
You said.
But anyway, Denston has a ship moored out at the Moraby dry docks, and we're going to head over there and hop on board.
Before we go, Einzar does insist that while this request is, quote-unquote, off the clock, it has grave import to our nation's future. So the mystery deepens. All right, for this run, we were joined by a couple of listeners. We had Aroki Fanan, who was... What did they play? What did they do? So Seo Mihata was tank.
I think, yes, tank.
Yeah, they were...
Dark Knight, I believe.
Yeah, I think Dark Knight. Yeah.
And then
Aroki Fanan was...
They played Summoner.
Summoner, that's right.
Because they were going to play Black Mage, but we were bullshitting before we got going and talking about how the Kraken fight would feel on min-eye level. And Aroki's like, maybe I'm going to do Summoner.
Switch to Summoner.
Yeah, not Black Mage for that, which fair.
Yeah, for real. So, yeah, and then you were you Dragoon again?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you were Dragoon.
I was heavily overdressed for this quest.
Yeah.
I was in my pre-Ishgard Dragoon gear.
It was pretty intense, but I think, that's how Dragoons fly.
Nice. And yeah, Jen played White Mage. And she cast Medica too.
I did.
I saw
it a couple times.
It's great.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. We arrive on a tropical isle, climbing a path inland from the beach. This jungle section here has a variety of thematic critters, and you are not required to kill all of them to progress. You can leave some of them in peace if you just follow the path. However, someone, probably Mistbeard, has left traps on the path.
Oh, that's right.
If you step in them, you get stunned, damaged, and bled.
Who is it that just straight up just walked into one right away? I think that was Seo.
Probably, yeah.
You're like, oh, right, there's traps. Don't step in the traps.
That happens to me all the time, too, because no other dungeon in the game has shit like this.
Yeah.
Normally, you are pressing forward right into the first enemy pack. Only here, you have to actually watch where you're stepping. Yes, it's so rude.
It was great.
But someone tripped every single trap on the path.
We had a lot of them.
Yes, we did.
I think I'm the only one who avoided getting got. It was fun. It was fun.
You're going to forget they exist, even if you're like, okay, there's a trap there.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely. We were like, oh, shit, that's right. And we all remembered, and we're all like, watch out for thems. And
then you
got
pull some guys
times.
Because you're fighting guys and dodging AoEs.
They're maybe sometimes a little off the path.
Yeah.
So you're just lulled and whatever. Just watch out for them shits.
Also here, there are bees, which will final sting you. So watch out for those guys.
Ooh.
Burn them, bees. The path ends at some mountains at a pretty intense wooden bridge that stretches across a river. On the far side is a Sasquatch who watches us as we finish off some trash enemies. Afterwards, he retreats back a little bit, and he meets us in a clearing ringed by banana trees. This is our first boss.
Yep. We were nervous about this guy. We were nervous about the whole thing, right? Because minimum eye level, we don't know what the fuck. And also, we have memories of this particular enemy type from Palace of the Dead and the other deep dungeon from Endwalker. They're very bad. So we're like, shit. Turns out, though, bro has an mechanic, and we were fine.
He has two mechanics. Throw poo, eat banana.
He's fine.
The latter one, the banana mechanic, will get you if you don't know what the deal is. all these banana trees are interactable, and you can shake the tree to make a banana bunch fall. However, if the Sasquatch eats them, he gets a damage up. So if you just like click the things for fun, he's going to get super tough, super fast. You got to wait until he starts doing his like I'm hungry tantrum and pounding his chest, which will cause very rapid raid wise to go out that also cause a stacking vulnerability up. So at that point, you only have a few rounds, depending on your item level and situation, your healer, whatever, to shake a tree to give him his lunch before he just raid wides you to death.
Amazing.
So that's it.
Yep.
Just dodge the stuff, and then when he gets angry, shake a tree, and that's that. He only did this mechanic once. The first 2 fights, the boss only did their signature mechanic one time before we burnt them down on min-eye level. So our DPS was bustin', Jen, collectively.
For real.
So good job, us.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked that we got them down both before the second round of mechanics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, this is a later dungeon, so I guess... Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
Anyway.
Nope, we just did good.
Just did good.
That's the fight. We move on now to some overgrown caves. There are some... Is that funny, Jen?
Yeah, because I'm just imagining caves just growing out of control. These caves, they won't stop getting big.
The cave's already big. There's life inside the caves, which has grown.
Okay, so there's a word for that. I don't know,
overgrown caves.
Overgrown, for some reason, it just hit me in the absolute wrong way, and it just seemed funny. Anyway. Yeah.
Thank you. Typically, at least in my experience, when one says overgrown, they mean that
overgrown jungle. It's choking with flora.
Has overtaken something.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
All right.
So anyway, there are some Nankas and snakes here. The Nankas will give birth while you fight them to babies.
And the babies will fight you.
Yes.
Yeah.
They hungry.
They come out swinging.
They come out swinging. You can get a baby Nanka minion later on in the dungeon. So if you want to take one home, you can. The main concern, though, in this section are the chests. There are several chests here, many of which contain mimics. Some of the mimics will drop stone tablets that you need to unlock the stone doors. On normal item level, I will usually just pop every chest in sight while trash is being pulled.
Sure.
So we can loop the mimics into the big trash AoE mess and then get them done faster. They're actually not that scary on min-eye level either. Because some mimics, like palace mimics, are terrifying, but these guys, fine.
They don't give you pox. So
no.
There's that.
They also don't hit for like half your health bar per auto attack.
Also that.
So pretty good.
Yeah, we got to a point where I was like, you know what? Just like open the mimic chests, bring them in. It's fine.
Yeah. In the dice roll of min-eye level difficulty, this one was kind of on the medium end, I'd say, as far as like the incoming damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, you got to pop those chests, kill those mimics, get those stone tablets, set them into recesses outside these stone doors. The doors slide open. We do that a couple times and we arrive at the second boss arena. This is a rocky cavern covered in shallow water. There is like a wide basin, like a circular basin that the boss fight takes inside this broader flooded chamber. The second boss is a purple worm called Sajorm.
Sajorm.
Is their name funny to you, Jen?
Yes.
Are you making fun of Sajorm?
Sajorm.
Yeah. Sajorm has some tricky mechanics. They will summon some large water bubbles throughout the area, and these bubbles will just hang in space. If you move into them, you'll get sucked up. These will stun you and apply a dot. So in general, try to avoid them. Mm-hmm. Just if you dodge an AoE or something, or dodge the worm's submerge attack, and you clip a bubble, you'll get sucked in. And if you're the tank, it's going to be sad. If you're the healer, it's going to be sad. It'll be sad, period.
Yeah. This reminds me of the worm fight in Cutter's Cry.
Yep. But there are no bubbles.
Bubbles.
It's an evolution of the worm.
This is just the water elemental version of the worm.
So that's the overall kind of layout. The worm does 2 different types of dives, where it will burrow underwater / underground. The first version will have it chase players around, sending up splashes that apply a stacking dropsy dot. The second dive will have it telegraph a giant whirlpool. This is when you want to get in those bubbles. because if you're trapped in a bubble during the upcoming giant splash, then the room wide will miss you because you're floating inside the bubble. Otherwise, you'll get killed by the giant whirlpool.
Yep.
We had a couple people go down to this, but we recovered, and even with those deaths, we beat the worm before they did this mechanic a second time.
We are glad Aroki ran a summoner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we leave the caverns and reach a far beach. We fight some coastal critters, and portions of the beach are blocked off by surging waves. When you get near these waves, they will spawn water sprites, and then the waves will subside when they're defeated, allowing you to progress. This section has a few branching paths. If you take the right-hand path, you can pick up the Narinaka minion from a chest. However, that is like the longest way to get to the boss in terms of just steps.
Yep.
However you go, though, all these paths converge at a collection of 4 circular rocks jutting out of the ocean. There is a massive shipwreck half sunk in the water here. This is Mistbeard's vessel. But as we approach, a massive kraken bursts forth from the waters. Interestingly, the Encyclopedia Eorzea says this is not some random kraken. Apparently, it and Mistbeard did battle in years past, and Mistbeard beat it.
Oh.
The kraken submitted to his will and now guards the cove on his behalf.
No way.
Yes, it's his pet
That's
kraken.
That's cool.
I'm impressed he communicated to the kraken, like, stay here.
Right?
Kraken, stay.
Okay.
Stay. Treat.
Right? He's just doing it. I guess, they both earn some, like, mutual respect for one another, and the kraken's like, you know what? This guy's treasure deserves to be protected, and I'm going to be that person.
Well, this fight has a lot of mechanics.
Yeah, he did a great job.
But you don't have to do all of them correctly, even on minimum item level. You can muddle through it to some extent. If you mess up too much, though, they will catch up to you. First off, once you begin the battle, water spouts will appear. You can step in them to be blasted to another island. However, when you do, a stacking separation debuff will appear upon you, lasting for several seconds. This causes a health down and vulnerability up. Essentially, this is a soft cap on how many times you can move between islands without having to take a break.
I didn't even notice that. I just moved when we had to move.
Sure.
Yeah. So I guess don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy is correct. And we, of course, get tentacles. We don't have them. They appear in front of us. We get them. We get tentacled. We must beat 10 tentacles to defeat the kraken. They come up one at a time at first, but later on it starts to intensify.
And they start grabbing you.
Yes. But note, though, you don't always have to move after beating a tentacle.
No, another one will pop up.
Yes.
Yeah, you just fight it there.
Eventually, your island will dry up. You got to go elsewhere to get more tents, but you don't have to move every single tentacle.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. Also
note that the tentacle attack is a line AoE. So if the tank points them away from the party, they will slam down and hit just the tank. However, if you tank them like in the middle of the island, they will probably whack everyone on that island.
Because they're not, the islands aren't big. The tentacles are big.
Right. Correct. Yes and yes.
Because they're big. But I had to clarify which one of these things is the big one.
While this is happening, you get ink blots shot at you, and tentacles grabbing people and flinging them around the place, and the whirlpools. The whirlpool mechanic requires some coordination. A player will get the green meteor marker on them. This tells us that they will get a water spout or like a whirlwind type attack on them soon. Like you do with the meteor mechanic, you have to bait this whirlpool somewhere and then move once the telegraph marker disappears, because the thing will appear where the marker fell off you. Also, though, besides avoiding them when they appear, these spouts will explode after a short while, dealing heavy damage to everyone on the island. You can either bail from your island after the spout appears, or you can bait the whirlpool elsewhere on a separate island and then return to the party after having dropped it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But do not go near it because they explode for heavy damage, especially on minimum item level. This was around 80 to 90% of our health.
Brittle. You're fine though.
Kind of. Because at the very end, we were having an awful time getting the final tentacle to spawn. We were like at 9 out of 10 and waiting around for this thing to happen. The tentacle finally pops up and we get the whirlpool marker at the same time. So we're like, fuck it, we're going to tank it. And we did so. And while trying to burn the tentacle, the whirlpool pops and everyone gets nailed for most of the health bar. But we burnt down the tent before it was too late and got the win. That's
okay. I remember I wasn't quite up on exactly what was happening, but it was like it was an awful lot. Oh my God, we're probably all gonna die, but we beat the thing at that same moment. And I was like, whoa, we just won. Okay. I thought we were all gonna die. This is better.
Once we beat the Kraken, we claim Mistbeard's coffer and we return back to Limsa. And we plop that cough in front of Denston.
He's like, oh, good, you didn't ruin it. Appreciate it.
It's very rude.
Right, we're like, we did the thing you said.
Denston says that the chief would be right pleased with our work here. Indeed, he would, announces Einzar, who joins our turn-in party.
Okay.
Now he says, are you curious, though, what's in the coffer? Einzar pops it open and pulls out a full helm and puts it on.
It's carved in the likeness of maybe Mistbeard.
Or maybe
the original Mistbeard.
It could be. Or it could just be a fanciful face. Because this face...
Sure.
So it's like a helm piece and a face mask in one giant assembly.
Yeah, it's like something you would see in ancient Roman sculpture.
Yep. It's actually very Roman or Greek. I don't know. Some might say same difference. But regardless, though, it's got a laurel wreath around the helm itself. And the face, though, it's got this very curly, like artistically flowing beard.
It's a stylistic
it does
beard.
Evoke mist for sure because of how cloud-like the curls of the beard are.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And the face, though, this is a Rogadin face on the mask part. It's got very pronounced features. It does look like it's meant for a Rogadin specifically.
Oh, that checks out.
Anyway, Einzar explains that all individuals who have borne the name Mistbeard have worn this mask. All individuals, Jin.
Yeah.
Mistbeard is not one man, but many, the mask having been passed down for generations. But now it is time for the legend to come to an end. For the last Mistbeard has found a new purpose in life, one woman and her dream of a brighter future for Limsa Lominsa.
As we know, Limsa is a nation founded by pirates, those who reject authority, take what they want when they want. And while some still feel that piracy is a time-honored tradition, clinging to those ideals will make lasting prosperity an impossibility for the nation. And those were the woman's words, and Mistbeard swore to do everything he could to make them a reality. There is no place in this future for pirate kings. So that's why this was so important for Einzar to get this mask back, because if someone found the mask and put it on and claimed to be the next Mistbeard, and then suddenly everybody be like, I want to be a pirate again, and Jesus Christ, now we're scrambling to stop people being pirates again.
Mistbeard would rally others of similar mindset to their cause.
Yeah.
From the power of the name and power of the mask.
Exactly. Yeah. Be like, oh shit. And so everybody would lose focus and it'd be a bad time.
Lose focus is an odd way to phrase it, but
yeah, no, they'd be like, oh, do we want to become like a legit nation, or do you want to just like sink back into the short-term romanticism of piracy?
I think it's more that it would enable the most regressive members of this society.
Yeah.
What the fuck's that pirate group called?
The Bloody Executioners?
Yeah, like the Bloody Executioners, for instance, who really want to go back to the old ways of Limsa society. So on this day, Mistbeard draws his last breath. Denston, I trust you know what to do. He says, aye, aye, chief. And that's the end.
Maybe instead of aye, aye, he could have said, yo ho ho.
Thank you. Nice callback.
Yeah.
After the quest is complete, you can talk to Denston again and ask him, but who is Mistbeard? Who's Mistbeard, you ask? Seven hells, you're a right daft sod, ain't ya?
Yes.
Me and the chief was as subtle about it as a bleeding sledgehammer.
He wasn't subtle back when, level 15 either, so... I mean, the meaningful glances that the Admiral and him shared in that room over the course of, 2 minutes.
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Yo ho ho.
Thank you.
Shiver me timbers.
Well, Jen, finally we can stop dancing around this fact when we deal with Einzar going forward.
Finally, yeah.
Finally.
I'm surprised the Google AI also didn't throw in a, where's me cutlass?
I don't think that's mainstream.
Absolutely not. That was the joke. That's the guy, the random voice above all. There's a swell of rabble in the Admiral's chambers, remember, in that moment?
Are you explaining to me or to the listener?
Everybody. And then there's one voice that rises above them all, and it's one guy going, yar, where's me cutlass?
How was this dungeon for you?
Super fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful dungeon. And when we got to the final boss, I was like, oh, fuck. Because I forgot that the Kraken fight was in this dungeon. And I remember it being kind of wacky. And it is wacky, but it's fun. It's totally doable.
It is. This dungeon, I guess it kind of makes me sad because I feel like it's one of the more creative A Realm Reborn dungeons in terms of just having alternate mechanics.
And that makes you sad.
It does, because we don't get stuff like this anymore. There's no other approaches besides going forward and killing 2 packs of trash, which I know I've griped about this beforehand, but this one especially because it's got the jungle section where you can pick your path and it's got environmental factors to walk through. It's not just like dressing on a hallway. It is actually pay attention to where you are.
Yep.
And there are things to be aware of. I
just also love the progression where you're literally landing on the shore. And you're hacking your way through the jungle, through the caves, to the hidden little cove at the back of the island where the Kraken is guarding Mistbeard's ship. It's so cool.
Yes, agree. And the Kraken fight, even though it is janky, it is also a lot of fun, too. It's very creative.
Oh, he looks great.
Yeah, he looks great. Also, it forces you to really kind of act outside your comfort zone in terms of your behavior. You can't just jam on your rotations. You have to be looking around you.
Oh, yeah.
Even on mid-eye level, it's not that punishing, frankly, but if the difficulty were cranked up just a little bit, you'd have to actually really be efficient and move together as a party to make sure you didn't get those stacking dots from movement or split up and then get beat on across the arena from the healer or something like that. Even being a bit more challenging would be fun for this fight, just because it would require you to employ more situational awareness and less just jam on the deeps.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you.
But they don't do a Hullbreaker Isle extreme or whatever, so.
There is actually a Hullbreaker hard, Jen.
Isn't that what we just did?
No, that was normal.
Oh, it was normal?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, then you're in luck. You're in luck.
You have to do normal before you can do hard.
Yep.
For dungeons, anyway. For trials, it goes hard, then extreme for who knows why. For dungeons, though, is normal, then hard. Weird naming convention.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Any other thoughts on Hullbreaker, Jen?
No.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up then. Next time, we are beginning on the Hildebrand quest series.
Oh, shit.
So we'll see you gentle then.
Oh, my God.
Got her.
Fucking, I apologize on behalf of everybody.
Apology redacted.
I just want to apologize on behalf of Levi, sorry.
Redacted.
I object. And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening and, being gentlemen. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv @gmail.com or check the show notes for our Discord and get in there and chat with some peeps, make some friends, do some group runs, post pictures of your pets, your glams, whatevs. Everybody's really nice, and you should check them out. And we also have our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to literally everything else that we do. That includes the Final Fantasy XI series, Vana'diel Van Splinter, our episodes of all the seasonal events, and other random crap like the tabletop RPG, the card game, etc. So give it a listen. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.
How are you today, Jin?
Fine. It's the end of the semester, and I had a bunch of architectural drawings to do, like with vellum and pencil. It's just like Arch 110, whatever. And I have been scrambling for the past 3 days to get I had to do 7 drawings, and I had to bike to a printing place this morning so I could get them scanned, so I could email them, and blah, blah, blah. We have class today, and I find out they aren't due until next week, which is technically outside of the semester limits, but the professor went on vacation for 3 weeks, and she's trying to make up for lost time. So we're meeting in class outside of the parameters of the semester.
This is so BS.
And so I'm done. I'm fine. And then today they also extended the deadline to, I think, the 30th of August. So everybody else has 2 extra weeks to do this stuff. And I'm like,
and you have 2 extra weeks to chill.
Done. I do have one project to do. It's a case study of an architect and one of their projects, which is going to be very, very easy. But yeah, I feel great about that. That's due next Wednesday, so I actually have to do that. But like to the stress, I literally had nightmares about drafting title blocks. I had a nightmare about it. I was convinced I would run out of time, and like scrambling this morning to get my shit scanned and blah blah blah. And I walked into the printing place, and she's like, "Okay, what's your name and email and phone number?" And she's like, "Okay, well, we'll give you a call." I'm like, I was hoping that you could just scan them right now and email them to me.
It's weird that they wouldn't just to take that long.
This is a huge operation that they're running, and I'm like, I have some things to scan. So she was like, well, let me see what's going on in the back. So she leaves. 2 minutes later, she's like, all right, they'll do it while you wait. I'm like, you fuck yeah, you will. They were very nice, and then they emailed me the shits, and the scan quality was quite poor. So a lot of my fine lines did not come through, and I'm going to have to do that over. So that was very, very stressful. The last 3 days were very, very stressful. And then we show up to class. Half the people didn't even do the fucking midterm. I don't know why I'm talking about this in the podcast, but half the people didn't do the midterm. This was 2 weeks ago. The midterm was due, and half the people didn't do it. So professor comes back today, and she's like, all right, so some of you turned in the midterm and some of you didn't even do it. Look, there's like 10 people in this class, all right? And she's like, that just boggles my mind that half of you didn't even do it. So she's like, well, here's an extra credit assignment that you can do to make up for that. And I'm like, why are you, oh my God. And then everybody gets 2 extra weeks to do the final set of drawings, which I thought would be turned in today. Like, so it's quite a roller coaster. Like, it's fine. Like, it's fine.
Regardless of how frustrating that is in general, at least you're done, Jen. That was really doesn't
good
hurt
feeling.
you.
That was really good feeling. So, I mean, she was just going to review everybody's like second drafts wall section drawings today. And I'm like, I'll just upload on my final because that shit is done. And so I basically got like a live review of my final assignment. If I need to make any tweaks to my other drawings, I got some feedback and I could do that before I turn them in. So I'm like, haha, suckers, you're not gonna get that. But probably if they emailed her like, can you check my drawings, give me feedback? She'd be like, okay, which is fine. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. She wants people to succeed, right? But this is a bit much. But I'm glad, because if I had been given until the 30th, I would not have started my drawings until like the 26th. So.
Lest the people make false assumptions, Jen, would you like to tell us what you are in school for?
Oh, it's just construction management. It's an associate's degree program. This is a 2-year program.
Yeah.
Yeah. which Levi has.
Not being an architect.
No, this is just it's just a, it's a class you got to do.
It's to grow your career. Anyway, 4 minutes later. Thank you.
Isle, yar!
Thank you for telling us how you're doing, Jen, in great detail.
Maybe cut all that out and put it on the Patreon.
I can put it on the end if you want me to, Jen.
Yeah, maybe. That's a bit much as an intro.